What is going on, y'all? Welcome to Joel Friday TV. I am Joel Friday. Welcome to the show. A few announcements before we get started. Hit that like button, smack it. Lay the smack down, like, subscribe, and share button. Tell your peoples about the show so we get the subscribers up and the message out. Do it now. Help a brother out. As you guys know, we are live Monday through Thursday at 11 a.m. Pacific time and Pacific time. There's some type of daylight savings change in Pacific Standard Time. I don't know. PT. That's when you guys, that's when my show is on. 11 a.m. Pacific Time. So I guess that's what I've been saying, but I don't know if I'm saying it right, but you guys get the point. And I am live on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, and Punchy.tv. And at any point during the show, you can call in at 888-775-3773, 888-775-3773, and we can get into whatever's clever, we can get into it. And if for whatever reason you can't call in, but you still have a question or comment, or you just want to support the show, you can go to buymeacoffee.com/JoelFridayTV, or go directly to YouTube live chat, hit the super chat button, send your question or comments on both of those platforms, and I'll read them live on air. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying. What's today? Today's Wednesday. What that mean? Relationships Wednesday. You don't have to mention daylight savings. I don't know. I don't know. I feel like I do because last time I got it messed up and I told somebody Pacific Standard Time, and I actually told Kit, a last guest on Punchy, I told him Pacific Standard Time, and I was wrong because we're on daylight saving time. It was a mess. So he had came on at the wrong time, or he thought it was later, an hour later. And I was like, no, we ready for you now. And it was all because of that stupid thing. So I'm going to just say Pacific time instead of standard and all that stuff. Just say Pacific time to be clear, I think. Yep. I agree. I think. All right, anyway. Today is Wednesday. That means it's Relationship Wednesday. So we can get into that relationship stuff. And on this show, if you're a new listener, every day is a different theme. Okay? Today is Wednesday, and today we do Relationship Wednesday, and we talk about relationships, marriage, dating, all things we can get into that revolve around relationships. We get into on Wednesdays here on the Joel Friday TV podcast. And we also theme the shows, and the theme shows are labeled as a playlist. I guess that's the best way to put it. On my YouTube channel, there's a playlist of each theme episode. So if you prefer Tuesdays, prefer Thursdays, you prefer Mondays, you prefer Wednesdays, there are playlists designated for each of those days on my YouTube channel. All right, cool. Let's get right into it. A little news. You guys remember Barack Obama and Michelle Obama? Barack and Michelle Obama, y'all remember them? Well, there was a big I wouldn't call it huge, but controversy over why Barack was showing up to recent events without Michelle. They were like, where's Michelle? Oh, then they must be getting a divorce. There's a divorce happening. Why aren't they showing up together? Everybody thought there was a divorce. Well, Michelle Obama took to the internet to clear up, or took to the media to clear up these false claims, okay? To clear it up. And what she said in an interview is she said that I am not divorcing Barack. I am choosing me. That's what she said, okay, in an interview. And I thought that was very interesting because this is what the standard, the modern woman mindset today. I'm choosing me. What does that mean? What is choosing me? I want to get into that, and I want to start off with a clip, okay? I want to start off with a clip because Michelle Obama has a podcast called In My Opinion podcast, right? She now has a podcast where she interviews different people. But on the podcast, she was asked how to pick the right spouse, how to pick the right mate. And I want to get into that and kind of break apart the answer that she gave and give my opinion on it. Thought it was very interesting. So this is from In My Opinion podcast with Michelle Obama. And also featuring her brother. It's a podcast of her and her brother, and they do it together. Michelle Obama's brother. Michelle Obama speaks on picking the right mate. Here we go.
One of the things I say to people as they're thinking about picking a mate, you got to think about like a partner as a member of your basketball team.
Ooh, I like this.
It's like if you were picking players to play on a team, you wouldn't just pick a shooter. Everybody has to be able to do it all.
Yeah.
Each person in a couple has to be able and willing to do it all.
Yep.
So you don't want to marry a man who's like, well, I don't cook. It's like, well, what happens if I can't cook?
Right.
How
are we going to survive?
Yeah, you just don't do laundry. Life is so unpredictable and complicated. And then add in kids, right? If you're married to a man that doesn't do house chores and you've had given birth and you've had a cesarean and you can't be on your feet, or heaven forbid you have a difficult pregnancy and you come home and he can't do anything. He's never been grocery shopping, or if you're the woman and you can't balance the checkbook because you've left that to him. Life is too complicated for two partners not to be real equals in it, because you just don't know what's gonna come.
Man, I love this so much because I have so much I want to say about what was said there. I love that clip so much. And not because I disagree, it's not because I agree with it why I love it. It's because there's so much there that makes my point. For one, I want to address one thing that she said is that picking a spouse. And as you guys see in the title today, I'm getting into why people divorce. Well, the number one reason, there's a few reasons, but people get divorced or they break up. For one, I want to start off, what she said is that when you pick a person, it's based off of, you got to look at them like a member of your basketball team, right? But I just in that argument, there's no such thing as picking. There's no such thing as picking. I think this isn't talked about enough. And I think people think that they choose and they pick, okay? You don't choose or you pick. We're not smart enough to choose or pick, honestly, right? If we want what is right and what is real, it's best that we take the back seat and just let life be, because we're not smart enough to know what we really want oftentimes, and we're not smart enough to choose the right person. Why? Because we're all into our desires and our wants and our fantasies. You know what I mean? To where what is real is distorted. So those who follow God and those who trust in God trust that he'll pick the right spouse for them. We don't pick ourselves. Okay? And it's just not true. But it doesn't mean that people don't do it. People do pick, right? And it brings me into my first, one of the reasons why people divorce and break up, in my opinion, is that their relationship or marriage is established on worldly principles, okay? It's based on attraction, right? And not connection. It's based on benefits and not connection. And what I realized is so crazy. What I realized is that, and I've seen it happen, I've heard it happen, I've witnessed it happen, right? I've experienced this, is that when attraction fades, right? When benefits fade or when attraction fades, the relationship is empty. Empty, dry. You think you don't love them no more. You think that the problem is them, or you think the problem is you, and you're trying to wrestle to figure out what happened here. And it's because it's established on wrong principles. But this is how the principles start getting changed, right? This is why we start seeing the roles reverse in the home. This is why we start seeing polyamorous relationships. We start seeing all these new type of things. Why? Because they're trying to bring the thrill back into the relationship. They're trying to reignite the fire. They're trying to find the sparks in order to get along with the person, in order to like the person again. But it's all based off attraction or benefits. But those are two different things. Okay, attraction is mostly for guys, right? Women too, they like attraction, but it's mostly for guys. Guys want all this this thing, this fantasy, right? And I can understand that it's false, but I can understand that, right? And I'm not justifying it. It's silly. It's a deception. But it's just this fantasy. So they chase after the woman that has all these things, that they think has all these things, right? Based off of their beauty, based off of what they see, based off of what they think they know, right? And then you get that person, and then you find out that it's hell to pay, right? And then you find out when they take off the makeup, it ain't what it really is. When they find out that they take off the clothes, that everything ain't what you thought it was. Or they may be all real. Everything's genuine and they're just beautiful looking, right? But at the end of the day, it's still hell to pay because that person is not for you. There's no connection, right? And then it's empty. But then what happens when it's empty now is that you guys now have to find all kinds of ways to make this work again. We got to do date night. You know what I mean? We got to do date night again. We got to try new things in the bedroom, right? We got to, I don't know, you just make up things in order to bring that attraction back. And that's not the way to go. You know what I mean? Not the way to go. And then when it comes to the benefit, this one is more for the ladies. When the benefits fade is when it get empty. What is the benefits? Is that, let's say he had money. The benefit he brought to the table was money, right? Or they had an agreement that he's going to come home at 9 o'clock every day, right? He's going to come home at 9 o'clock. He's not going to have boys' night out every weekend. That's too much, right? These benefits, these agreements that they have. Then when those change, because you realize, like, what the heck? I'm not a slave. You know, I'm able to, I'm going out with my friends, but we're not going to the club. We're not doing all this type of crazy stuff. There's nothing wrong with hanging out and having some friends. He has a change of mind. Well, now in her mind, she's like, he's changed up. He's switched. He's different. Our agreement is not being held up, right? So now the relationship is back empty because the agreement and the benefits no longer feed her ego, right? They no longer make her feel good, right? She no longer has control that she thought that she had. So now she goes out of control, and now you guys got to try to figure out how to make that work again. Well, what's some examples of that? Now you got to figure out how, now she's like, well, you know what? I think this emptiness means I got to get a job too. This emptiness means I need to go out too. I need to go do this too. Or I need to be my own woman. Or I need to, and now you start trying to fill this emptiness with just false things. And then the man gets weaker because he accepted. And then she gets more independent, but angrier. And then it just all hell to pay. You're grabbing at air and nothing's working. And now your whole family dynamic is flips upside down and the kids are all jacked up. Am I lying? Am I lying? Now all the kids are all jacked up now because of this. Based, established on worldly principles. Okay? That's number one. Number two is they don't know themselves, right? And you can have a connection. Well, I don't want to scare people. But you can have a connection and still possibly not go anywhere, right? And I think a reason, a big part of that is because you don't know themselves. The person, you don't know yourselves. And what that means is that when problems come, you lose sight of what is true, right? You don't know how to go back to the center, right? You don't know how to find the center again, which is truth, which is light, right? Which is clarity. So you are all lost and all over the place. And it's best when the man knows himself. If two people, if only one person's gonna know themselves in the beginning, in a marriage or in a relationship, right? Because not everybody, let's be real, not everybody really knows themselves, right? For the most part, right? That takes time to discover as you work on yourself, good parenting, and all this good being raised properly, and then you discover who you really are, right? That comes in adulthood when you make sense of life, but people still get together and get in relationships and they don't know themselves. Let's just be realistic. But if we're talking about marriage, both should know themselves, but the man definitely needs to know who he is. I say before marriage, God could do whatever he wants, but just in general, a man should know himself. Reason why is because he has to be able to lead. How could he lead or at least know who to call on and how to hear from God if he doesn't know himself? If he's lost, how could he lead? How could he help his wife out of hell if she's seeking herself as well, right? How could he do it? He has to be able to know where he's going. He has to be able to know where to draw the truth from and how to hear it and understand it. Or he's lost, she's lost, the family's lost. And if he knows himself and wife is truly seeking to overcome and learn it as well, he'll be able to guide her and lead her on her knowing herself as well, right? And she ultimately has to work on herself and do all that good stuff, right? So that's another reason why it doesn't work. They don't know themselves, so they're lost. Now everybody doing all kinds of new stuff to make it work. All right. And number 3, the last one, is they say it didn't work out because I fell out of love with him or her. There is no such thing as falling out of love with somebody. That doesn't exist. It never existed and it never will exist. If it's real love, you can never fall out of it. Doesn't mean you need to hold hands and walk. Doesn't mean you need to not put separation there if it's needed. It just means that that's not what love is. Real love, genuine love is a revelation, is like an insight from God, right? You don't make yourself do it. You don't work hard enough to get it. It's just an understanding. It's just a revelation of who you're married to or who you're working with, right? And when you see that, you can't unsee it, meaning you can't unknow it, right? And that's why God adds it, so you guys see each other. And you can't fall out of love. Now, let's just say they make mistakes and it doesn't work out for whatever reason, right? You guys make mistakes, it don't work out, or one person decides they want to do this or whatever. You still don't fall out of love with them because that glimpse of what you're seeing is who they truly are, the real self, the true self. And once you see the true self, you can't unsee the true self, and you can't hate the true self. Right? So you can't fall out of love with somebody, even if you break up. Even if you guys happen to divorce. God forbid, I hate that word, divorce. What the? But even if you divorce or you break up, right? You still will go your separate ways, but you still have love for each other if it's real. If it's not real and you say you fell out of love, you were never in. So that's what I realized too. What the? And I'm going to get to some calls right now. You guys can call in 888-775-3773. But I do want to say this. Is that when it's real, just how to recognize it. When it's real, it's like it's everything that it's the opposite of everything you think that you're looking for. It's the opposite. It's almost like, it's like everything that your desires are not looking for. That's exactly what, if you need a rubric of how to recognize the right person, well, for one, you wouldn't doubt it. You would just know. But it's everything your desires are not looking for. Right? But it's everything that you need, and it's everything that you also really want, but you just don't know that you want. But it's the opposite of everything that you think that you want. It's the opposite of that. And when you're in it, you're like, how do we get together? You know what I mean? And it doesn't mean that you don't like them. It doesn't mean that blah, 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 blah. It just means that you're like, you would have never have done it of yourself because you wouldn't know that this is what was necessary. This is what was right. Right? And my last thing is that it's, when it's real, it's added for purpose, not for pleasure. There's a reason why you're with that person that you normally wouldn't be with. Their personalities are very different from yours. You're very opposite, or whatever it may be, right? It's for a purpose, and it ain't for no pleasure. You'll get to have your little pleasure. The pleasure gonna be there, but it ain't gonna be the primary reason you guys are put together. Because that stuff is like, comes and go. What the? That ain't important. Pleasure ain't important. So that's how you know it's real. It's everything you're not looking for, and it's added for a purpose, not for pleasure. And then if you stick with that, you get to know yourself, then divorce doesn't even exist. It ain't even a word. It ain't even real. So anyway, let me check the super chats real quick. I see some super chats coming in. I'm getting to the super chats right now. Does that make sense, y'all? Let me know. Press 1 if that makes sense. Press 2 if, Joel, you talking mess again. Lord, Joel, what? Press 1 if it makes sense. Press 2 if what? We got Linian Chin with the super chat from yesterday saying it's the prancing time station where twinkles flow through your own twinkle toes tapping in your shoe. It's prancing time station. Joel, the rainbow of God's promise, prancing show. Why you put the rainbow in there, Linian Chin? You snuck that in there, and you thought that was you were gonna get away with it? No, sir. What you mean by rainbow, Linian Chin? Linian Chin goes on to say, verily I saith, Whoever pranceth as Joel doeth is knighted in the holy kingdom as servant to the prince of prance. Women like prancing princes. All right. Nice. Nice. Thank you, Leon Chin. I appreciate it. Mario Bala says, happy early Easter, everyone on JLP crew. Love you guys. Joel just got married, sir. Joel, you just got married, sir. LOL. Divorce shouldn't be said already. That's right. I'm just making points here. But you're right. What the? And it's mainly because people getting mad at me about the prenup thing. Lord have mercy. Lord. Anyway. I'm going to put that one away for a little while. Give that one a little break. Thank you, Marie. Oh, Madi. I always call you Marie. It's Madi Ubaldo. Thank you, Madi. Friend of the show. Longtime friend of Bond. Appreciate it, Madi. All right. Let's get to the phones here. So yesterday I asked JC to call back in and finish the conversation about slavery. And also he wants to chime in on the turtle conversation as well. The story of the turtle. So let me go to JC out of Little Rock, Arkansas. JC, welcome to the show. You're on the air.
Joel, how are you, Joel?
All is well, JC. How are you?
I'm very similar to what Mari said, because I was like, why is he talking about divorce so much? He should be enjoying like honeymoon, and he's a newlywed. Why is he talking about divorce so much?
When did you hear me talk about it the most?
Talking about divorce, it's in the subject of your show today. It's why people are getting divorced, why people are breaking up.
Well, I guess I'm more so trying to give like an antidote to why these things keep happening to people. Because a lot of people do break up and divorce, and I was just speaking on what I've learned about it. So that's why I brought it up.
Have you learned this from your marriage? And this is why you're thinking about divorce?
No, not thinking about divorce. I'm just solving a problem.
I would hope not. You should be happy. You and Little C should be very happy. Be sharing.
We are.
How you found your soulmate, and be telling the world this is how the marriage is working. For all of you naysayers, this is how you conquer a new marriage. That's what your message should be.
Right on.
Not why divorce happened.
Fair enough.
Real quickly, before we get into the important conversation from yesterday,
okay.
The turtle thing, I was listening about you did something with turtles, and what happened?
So not too long ago, I there's a turtle. You'd have to go back and watch the show if you don't know the details, because I can't get into the turtle incident. But
okay.
but there was an incident with a little turtle that we had. But anyways, I'll come back to that later in the show if it makes sense and I have time. But I don't want to re-explain that.
Oh yeah, it sounded interesting when I heard that today. I was like, what is going on? Okay, now the serious things. Now that we're done being silly. All right, so first of all, I sent you a link today about like the I don't know if you got that link, but that would answer a lot of the questions that you're wanting to ask me. But go ahead and specifically ask me your question from yesterday, so I can try to give that answer.
Dang, I forgot what I asked you to remind me.
It was basically about like why did black people why are black people blaming slavery for everything? Why can't we get over slavery?
Right. Yes. And what did you come up with?
It's something that's mentally established within us, sir. Like when you think of the hundreds of years, the millions of slaves that lost their identity, that died, that were sexually assaulted, that were murdered. Like, that's ingrained in our DNA on things. And why can't we get over it? We never want it to happen again. And then to go back to another question that you had about this, how do we allow ourselves? Well, a lot of us got captured, Joel. A lot of us became imprisoned. A lot of our ancestors became imprisoned. Some of the people, they were like actual like thieves and robbers and stuff. And so some of the kings were trying to punish those people. But then it became innocent people, including children, that got enslaved and sold and sold. Humans got sold to become property. And they were known as other. They lost their identities. They lost who they were. There's so many things from Africa that you and I, with the black skins that we have, don't know about ourselves because it was stolen. It was stolen. And so that, I'm hoping that answering your question and stuff,
kind of
things that we should both already know.
Well, it kind of answers why you believe that has affected you today. But if but back then, let me just say this. Back then, when let's just say that was all those details that you explained were true. I'm not saying that they're false. I'm just saying let's just say that they're true, that their identities were tore from them and taken from them, and they were beat and all that stuff. That didn't happen to JC in today's time. So how is your identity being taken away if you have never been a slave and none of your friends have been a slave and none of your family members have been a slave? Why is that affecting you today?
My family members were slaves.
I'm talking about your immediate. I'm talking about your family member that you know and that you've known.
How it affects me is because I'm a black man that never wants to lose our heritage. I'm somebody that wants to keep fighting for our culture and stuff. I'm somebody that celebrates our black pioneers and keep making ourselves proud and stuff. I'm somebody that you already know how much I love being a black man. You know I love my beautiful black skin like you should love yours.
I love my beautiful black skin, but why are you? What are you fighting for? What are you fighting for? Well, it's
what am I fighting for?
Yeah, what are you fighting for?
Listen to the first hour of Hate Show just today. All that racial rhetoric and stuff. How these people are wanting, like I said, a race war just because a black man killed a white man, and now they're saying they're feeling some type of way and stuff, and even quoting saying, "Oh well, black women were saying, well, this is for Sandra Bland, this is for Trayvon Martin, this is for all this and stuff." Listen to all that racial rhetoric that we had to listen to. Then listen to how earlier this week, a fellow black man called a black woman, basically said she was walking on her knuckles, knowing the racial connotations with that, and because he's old enough to know it, knowing how disrespectful he is. So no, I get.
But why does that?
I get.
Why does that bother you? Why does that bother you so much? It's not happening to you. Why does that bother you?
I mean, if I want to get into the disrespect that they're talking about with me, luckily it's very rarely about my skin tone or anything. It's about other things.
Right.
But it's also like these people and stuff, you got to fight fire with fire sometimes. You got to have good and evil. These people, they want to say I'm the evil one because I'm a gay Christian or whatever. I'm not the evil one when I'm not in the chat talking about being noosed and hung from chairs and stuff. How does that make me evil? And then that's the thing, Joel. That's the thing. I'm surprised. I hope this doesn't happen to you, but I personally have gotten these death threats from this community in general over like racial things or anything. Yeah. And I don't want that to happen to anybody. Nobody should die for the color of their skin.
I agree. And maybe that has, but let me jump in there real quick. Maybe that, and I agree, no one should be, there should be no consequences for the way you look. I agree with that. And If that happened to you, then but anyways, if I take your word for it, if that happened to you, then that shouldn't happen. But let me just ask this: is that how come me being black, that racism or slavery or none of that affects me today? I don't think about slavery. I don't think about racism. I don't have anybody picking on me because I'm black. How come that has skipped over me, but it's affecting everybody else?
Joel, I don't think that's true, though. If I have to give some reasoning why you feel unaffected by this stuff,
right,
is because part of you denies a lot of yourself. You deny half of yourself, and that has brought you comfort for almost 30 years of denying a good portion of yourself. You deny what you see in the mirror to appease your other side.
But what if
you should love being able to be to have that white side, that Creole side, whatever, the black side.
Right. What if I look at
part of you?
But what if I look in the mirror? But what if I look in the mirror, JC, and I'm not looking at a specific race or color? What if I'm just looking at me? What if I'm just loving me for me and not what color I am and not what none of this stuff? Why does it have to be the white man's fault being held down? I don't ever think about racism, and because of that, I don't ever get weird things happen to me.
But why do you have to look in the mirror and see yourself and not like that black side of you? You always stand up for the white side of yourself.
No, I don't.
But not the black. You know, because you said you grew up having confusion, especially in like middle school and high school, not knowing because the black kids you thought they thought you thought they were too ghetto and stuff, but then the white kids always want to be around you or different things like that.
Right.
So what is it and stuff? Because these are the words you said, sir.
Right. Yeah. I great point is when I grew up thinking that and believing into the racism stuff or whatever, it's because I was completely brainwashed, not by my family, because my mom never talked about racism stuff, but brainwashed by the school, the media, so whatever it was. But it was just complete, absolute brainwashing. None of it was true. None of it was true. No white man is holding me back. No white man has ever held me back. Nobody is picking on me just because I'm black. Everybody has problems. Everybody deals with evil in the world, and it ain't got nothing with skin color. It ain't got nothing to do with that. And there's angry people who do stupid things, but they don't get to have power over me by me telling them that they're enslaving me or they're holding me back. No. Why? I don't have to see them. I don't have to hang out with them. I don't have to be around them. What's the point of fighting them when you could be free and live your own life of not worrying about that stuff?
I have two more questions.
Well, answer that though. And then you can answer the questions. What's the point of being caught up on things that are only making you more depressed or making you more angry what's the point?
It's not me being depressed or oppressed as a black man. It's remembering my history and making sure it doesn't happen again. But again, I don't have those same identity issues, and I'm not trying to attack you with that. But
I don't have identity issues. I have zero identity issues.
You don't recognize.
I don't. No, you have the.
You don't recognize when there's like still a target on our back and stuff.
I don't care.
Bring up people like you don't. That's the thing. You don't. People close to our age, like a Ahmaud
Who's
Arbery,
we?
like Breonna
Who's
Taylor,
we? They're not my people.
Age,
those are
our age. You're in your 30s or early 30s. I'm in my early 30s. They would have been in their early 30s. So these people close to our age who could have been our classmates at any point who have...
I don't know them. I don't know them, JC. They're not my people. They're not my people. I don't know them. What? I don't... let me tell you who the people...
Joel,
I don't know them, and I don't care. I don't know them.
They could be your family, though.
No, but they're not.
They could be your family.
And even if they were my family, even if they were that family, what does that mean? That's their own lives. That's their own stuff to deal with. Why?
You want
But
you could be a
JC,
target.
listen to this. But listen to this. If I'm telling you that me being black, well, mixed, or me having black in me, but looking black is free from worrying about racism and slavery, and I live a fairly good life, and I'm not worried or stressed out about racism or afraid for my life. If that's the case, why don't you be like, oh, okay, Joel, that's cool. How is that possible for you? Instead, you want me to be worried and afraid and feeling oppressed like you and the other blacks are. Why would you want that for yourself?
I'm not oppressed, but I was literally about to say good for you, Joel. I'm glad you get to have that blind ignorance where you, with that beautiful black skin, can go out and not worry that you're going to be pulled over or gunned down or something every time you go out of the house. I'm glad you are.
Isn't that a better way to live, though? Isn't that a better way to live?
I would love to live like that. I live in this free America too, but I don't always feel like a free citizen.
But that has nothing to do with
like this America was made for us.
But the lack of freedom that you feel has nothing to do with somebody else. It has everything to do with you, with self. If you don't feel free,
I want to live, but I still have to worry that if I'm walking with my beautiful black skin, that one day I could be attacked, and I shouldn't even have to feel that way in 2025. But because there's still so much hatred, or on your case, a denial, which, well, I honestly hope I hope you're never attacked because of the color of your skin. If you're attacked because of your viewpoints and stuff, and I don't mean physically, I mean just like somebody cursing you out, then yeah, you deserve that because you say a lot of ignorant things. But because of the color of your skin,
nobody deserves it.
You're never attacked, and I hope you never have to call the NAACP on your back.
Well, fair enough, but let me just say this because there's other people that want to get in on this. I only got a little bit more time, and I appreciate the call as well. But let me just say this: and
remember, I still got one question for you.
Okay. Why? Well, ask your question really quick because I don't have this much time. So go ahead, ask your last question.
Okay. It's 2 in 1. So first of all, the first one would be, what would happen if you had woke up in slavery? How would you feel? And then my main question is, why don't you call people out for being wrong? You love to try to call me out and stuff and get me, but your own friend has insulted Harriet Tubman, saying she stole property and stuff. Your own friend has shown that he chose the Confederate flag.
Who's my own friend?
Your own friend James. Your own
okay.
friend James has did things like that and stuff. You never call him out on his foolishness.
Well, I don't know if you. Well, I'm not. Well, for one, they're entitled to have their own opinion and believe what they want to. I don't necessarily have to agree. But when we are on our show, Punchy TV, and we have discussions, we agree. And I wouldn't say most of the time, but we're probably half agree, half disagree. And it's happening on the show. So it's not like I'm sticking up for people. If I don't agree with it, I speak on it. And everybody will tell you that.
You agree with him about him calling Harriet Master, Harriet Tubman stealing from the masters, stealing property from the masters because she was trying to free slaves.
I don't know anything about those details. So I mean, I'm not going to call out something I'm not aware of or know whether it's true or not.
Anyways, Joel, that's the thing.
Okay.
People like you will give these racist white people permission to keep being evil and spew hatred.
No,
they'll listen to people like you.
I just don't let it affect. I just don't let it. I make sure to not let it affect me. If it does, then I figure out how to not let it affect me, and then so I can be free and not care about what other people think. And I suggest that you do that as well, because last thing, JC, is that you're never gonna change the world. The world is gonna be evil, and it's gonna be evil forever. It's never gonna stop being evil. So your only solution is to change yourself and how you react to the evil. And that's the only way you'll be able to get free and be happy. You're not going to make anybody agree with the way you think and live your life. But I appreciate the call, JC, and good questions. And I got to run because I'm so running out of time. And everybody wants to get in now. So let me go to Canada. First-time caller, Cody, first-time caller out of Canada. Cody, welcome to the show. You're on the air.
Hey, how's it going, Joel?
All is well. Cody, how are you?
Good. No, I just wanted to ask you a question about like what you were saying before about how to know if she's the one.
Yeah.
So how like I missed a bit of it, but how do you know she's the one?
That's a good question. How exactly to know is, for one, it'll be clear to you. I can say that you'll just have a formula like, oh, she does this or she does that. It'll just be very clear to you. And it'll be everything that opposite of what you think you want.
Okay.
Right? It'll be everything the opposite of what you think.
Eh?
Right. It just makes sense. And you guys there's no competition. You're not trying to compete with each other. And the order, I guess that's the best I can say, Cody, is that the order is there. The order is there and it just works. She understands you, you understand her, and she's not trying to be a man like you and you're not trying to be a female like her. It just works out because you guys, it just makes sense. You guys have this understanding.
So it's just like an understanding of each other, and it just kind of flows. You don't have to try too much, and it's
a connection. It's a connection that comes, right? That nothing on the physical, nothing on the practical sense matters. So what she does for work, what is this, what is that, none of that stuff matters. What really matters is that the order is there and everything else will fall into place. You guys will get to know each other and it'll just start working out as it's supposed to. But you guys aren't sitting up there arguing either. You guys aren't fighting like that. That's not how it's supposed to be. And the order would just work itself out.
okay, because I've been I just kind of weird. Well, it's not weird, but I kind of just put like a couple girls in the friend zone kind of thing, and because I just started doing that from listening to you and Jesse, and it works because you don't think about the sexual attraction at all. But now the thing I'm thinking about is like one of them I wasn't super sexually attracted to, and then I started feeling shallow that like you have to feel sexually attracted to them, right?
It's not that you don't feel sexually attracted to them, but that's not why you're interested in them, right? You have that's like not even really your thought. You're not thinking like, oh, I wonder what she's like in bed or what he's like. That's not a thought. You're just more interested in them, right? Whatever you guys are sharing, whatever connection you guys have, it just makes sense and it's just working and it's nice. It's like it's genuine. And you just gravitated to it being like something real opposed to you thinking like, oh, I can't wait to get in bed.
Yeah. And the other one is like the other one's a single mom. And I don't know what to do about that situation either because it's like it kind of flows and everything. And she's pretty attractive and stuff. But I don't know if one of those things where I don't want to have to be caught in the crossfire like it.
Well, what are you? So you have these 3 different girls that you just been dating and getting to know.
I don't date them, but because I used to get caught up in the attraction thing, and I was an idiot. As soon as I start looking, I'm just thinking about attraction and whatever. The S word and stuff.
Yeah.
And then I tried to stop that, and I just would say, yeah, let's just be friends, and then, you know, come over and help me with this and that. And it started to lower my thoughts on the attraction part, and I like how it did that because I can see them for what they are. But now I'm like, I'm not making any moves to, you know, pursue some of these girls because I'm worried it might fail or whatever. But yeah, so now I'm just, and then I'm thinking, oh, maybe the devil is trying to get me to go after them so that I'm going to screw up another relationship.
Yeah. Well, I wouldn't put that much thought into it. You don't want to overthink it because then, you know, that'll stress you out too. What I can tell you from experience is that you won't be able, you can't help but to pursue somebody that you're interested in. That's it. There's no you can't even hesitate. You can't even, unless you're too caught up in your head and then you're just, you know, stressing yourself out. But other than that, just let it go and just live life, and it'll just start working itself out. You'll gravitate to the person that you're interested in, and you won't have to stop yourself or prevent yourself.
For sure. For sure.
Yeah. And where are you meeting them? Where are you meeting these girls?
Well, I live in a town, and there's just neighbors and stuff like that. And then I was working for one of the girls' dads.
Oh, okay. So it's casual.
It's casual, yeah.
Well, not everybody also is meant to be wife or meant to be girlfriend. You know, you could just casually meet people and you get along with them and they're friends, or they're just temporary, you know, you're just hanging out and temporary like relationships or maybe little flings. But
it's not even no kissing or nothing.
Exactly.
It's just hanging out and seeing where it goes, and if it doesn't go, it doesn't go. But you know.
And that's how it should be. That's how it should be.
Yeah. And then the other thing, I'm worried that I'm leading them on a little bit, but at the end of the day, they do that stuff too. So.
Do you know for sure if you're leading them on?
Not really. Like I get
then you're
stuff, and
then it's not real. If you're not sure that you're doing it, or you don't know if you're doing it, just keep living life and let it be shown if you're doing that or not, right? Just learn the lesson. You're not a bad guy if you make a mistake or something like this happens, you know? Don't be too in the head about trying to wonder if you're doing it right or doing it wrong. It'll make you into a nutcase. I know from experience. So if you just try things and get to know and hang out, and if you feel that you're overdoing it, then you just pull back. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
No big deal.
For sure, man. Well, thank you for doing what you're doing. I like your shows a lot. Right on,
Cody. I appreciate it. And do you watch? How'd you hear about my show?
Oh, I've been watching Jesse and you guys for probably 6-7 years.
Right on.
I watch the church every single Sunday. I love that.
Nice.
But it's it's crazy if I show it to somebody, they go, what is this? And I don't know why you and Jesse, like, you just kind of have that. I can understand what you're saying because I just feel it.
Yeah,
you know?
You recognize it.
Like, yeah.
Right on.
It's awesome.
Right on, Cody. Well, I'm so out of time, so I gotta end here.
Yeah.
But thanks for the call, and I hope that makes sense. And call me again if you have any more questions, man.
All right. Thank you very much. You take care.
All right, you as well. All right, guys, American Anchor Baby's coming in right now. Derek and the rest of the callers, I cannot get to you. My bad. I just ran out of time. But call me tomorrow if you want to. We can get into it. American Anchor Baby coming in next right now. Make sure you guys wait and tune into his show. He got some stuff for you. You don't want to miss it. Make sure you tune in. And appreciate you guys' super chats and all that good stuff. I'm gone. I'm out of time. Until next time, I'll see you tomorrow if the Lord's willing. And I'll see you. Bye.